Hello Internet, welcome to Lex Universe. So the second video of this series is coming up. In case you haven't seen the first one about Istanbul, you can check it out in the upper right corner. And in today's video, we will talk about, guess what? Bangkok. As you may have heard, Thailand is opening their borders on the 1st of July, so tourism is back. And in case you want to head out to Thailand, to Bangkok, I hope this video will be really helpful for you. So unfortunately I don't have any Thai hat, but when I was in Bangkok I bought these amazing elephant pants. Hashtag Elapants. So with that out of the way, let's go for Bangkok. Now a little bit of context first. As you probably know, Thailand is located in the Southeast Asia, on the coast of the Gulf of Thailand and the Andaman Sea. Large portion of the country lies on the Malay Peninsula, bordering with Malaysia on the south, then Myanmar to the west, Cambodia to the east, and Laos to the north. It's pronounced Lao. You didn't know that, did you? So the official language is Thai, which is written in the Thai script, but you can find English transliteration almost everywhere in Bangkok. They use the Type-C plug outlet and drive on the left side of the road. The official currency of Thailand is the Thai baht. And if there is just one thing that you know about Southeast Asia, it's that it's really cheap. Now Bangkok itself is located in the delta of the Chao Phraya River, not directly on the coastline, so if you want to go for a swim to the sea, Bangkok is not the destination for you, but it's quite nearby. You can read it almost everywhere, like it's a hot, humid climate there, be aware, and you don't pay attention to that, well do. I've never been more wet and more overheated than in Bangkok. Trust me, there's like 40 degrees Celsius the whole day, and not the whole day, the whole year. Count on the fact that it's like just this giant oven that you will have to survive in there somewhere, somehow. That brings me to another point. If you're booking your accommodation, book it somewhere near some kind of a public transportation, if you intend to use it. Because every time you will have to walk, you will get wet before you get anywhere. Or if you don't sweat, then good for you, I hate you, and I hope you will die with horrible death. But first, let's get one thing out of the room right away, and that is the official name of the place. We, the Westerners, call it Bangkok, but it's actually not the official name in Thai. The official name in Thai is Krungthep Mahanakhon, which is the shortened version of the ceremonial name of the place, which you can see here on the screen, and I will not try to butcher it with pronunciation. Trust me, I tried to learn it for like 5 hours. I wasn't successful, I will never be successful. I just have to accept that I will never learn Thai in my life. So, in case any one of you knows how to pronounce it, make a video, post it on the Instagram, I will put you to my stories, give you a shout out, because that's really memorable. Now, getting to Thailand. Bangkok itself has 2 international airports, one of which is Suvarnabhumi, and it serves for the major long-haul flights for the major airlines, and it will probably be your point of arrival to Thailand. In case you travel from another place in Thailand or from another place in the Southeast Asia, it's possible that you will arrive at the Don Mueang airport. The chances are that if you're traveling somewhere to the Southeast Asia or from somewhere, you will arrive or depart from Don Mueang. In other cases, you will probably end up in the main airport. The Suvarnabhumi International Airport is actually one of the busiest airports in the world. It's open 24 hours a day, and there are departures and arrivals the whole day long. So be prepared that anything you want to do there will take quite a long time. That counts for check-in, that counts for security clearance, that counts for immigration, passport control. All of that will take up a lot of time. When we were departing from Thailand, our flight had like 3 hours delay and we still barely made it, so really be there long in advance. Also, don't forget that right now we will probably have to deal with some other hygienic measures, so it may take even longer than usually. Thailand is actually one of the best accessible countries into Southeast Asia. Its visa policy is very tolerant. Many of the countries around the world have visa-free access to Thailand for up to 90 days, so it's perfect for your vacation or even for making Bangkok your hub for further traveling in Southeast Asia. So chances are, if you're traveling from another country in the Southeast Asia and then you want to continue to Europe or to the United States or some other place, and you will need to transfer from Don Mueang to Suvarnabhumi, this can be done. There are actually buses that will take you from one airport to the other, and they're for free if you have the flight tickets departing from the other airport. You will just show it to these guys at the terminal building. They will stamp you on the wrist, and then you can board the bus and it will take you to the other airport. The travel time is usually like 1 hour, but considering it's Bangkok and it's like just one large traffic jam sometimes, better get more time for the transfer. Now, if you want to get from the airport to the city center, you have basically several options, but each one of them is good for another type of situation. If you live somewhere in the modern parts of Bangkok that are connected with the SkyTrain, you can take this train called Airport Link, and it will take you to the SkyTrain station, and then you can board the public transportation. Another option, if you live in the city center, or like in the historical city center near the Khao San Road and the main tourist attractions, you have the possibility to take the bus number 15, which will take you to the center. But riding a bus in Bangkok is I will get to that when I get to public transportation. But anyway, I think that the most reliable possibility for you to get from the airport is to get a taxi. Of course, flying is not your only option how to get to Bangkok. There are direct buses to other major cities in Thailand, also some international buses that will take you across the border to Laos or to Cambodia. There are 3 bus terminals. For me, actually, the only one that I ever used was the Mochit bus terminal, but there are 3 of them, so if you're planning travel by bus somewhere in Thailand, better check out in advance where it comes from. Another possibility is train, but just remember that the trains in Thailand run really slowly, but on the other hand it could be an interesting experience, because trains in Southeast Asia, what could be better, right? Well, what could be better is driving. That's your final option, and unless you want to die with a terrible death or of boredom, just don't do that. And now my next point, and that's the public transportation. At the first glance, public transportation in Bangkok can be a nightmare, and on the second glance, it's even a bigger nightmare. But once you start to kind of understand how it works, it's really useful. First of all, there are parts of the public transportation that are extremely reliable and extremely lesson-like, and then there are parts that you don't want to use unless someone's putting a gun to your head. So first of all, they have 2 lines of metro. They call it MRT. You can use it. It's a very reliable system. You will get these tokens that you will just put at the entrance gate, and then you will get rid of them once you leave the metro. It's perfect. When you buy the ticket, you will have to choose your final destinations, and based on that, that will be the price. The same can be said about the second rapid transport, and that is the SkyTrain, also known as BTS. Another possibility is to get your private driver, and there are again several possibilities. First of all, like the most iconic vehicle in Bangkok is the tuk-tuk. It's basically like this motorized rickshaw. Good experience. If you're in Bangkok, you should do it at least once. But on the other hand, don't forget, these are extremely touristy, so the price will in most cases be larger than for a taxi. Which is on the next point. Taxi in Thailand can be just hailed on the street, but again, unless you want to haggle, there is an app for it. Uber doesn't work in Thailand, but they have their own South Asian version of Uber, which is called Grab. Now, Grab is perfect because not only you can call for private drivers, but you can actually order a taxi, like a regular taxi, and you will see the price beforehand. I actually found out about this app like 2 days prior to my departure, so I didn't have much use of it, but it can really save your day. Another possibility how to get around is by bus. And Yeah, it's like a very theoretical possibility. Traveling by bus in Bangkok is I don't have words to describe this. First of all, the buses are awful. There is no air conditioning. They're stuck in a traffic jam all the time. And another thing is, there are several colors of the buses, and each color has its own tariff. And so, if you want to travel somewhere with a bus, first of all you have to find out which bus goes where, then which bus costs what, and then you will have to survive the drive, which are 3 pains in the ass for one trip, which you can very cheaply get by Grab. So that really looks like I'm doing an advertisement, right? And your final option is to drive. Well, it's technically possible to sit in a car and drive all the way from Europe to Thailand. I guess it's a very long drive, but in most cases you will probably rent a car there. So that's the first hassle you will have to do on the airport. And then the second part, they drive on the left side of the road, so unless you are used to it, you may have problems with that. And the third, I don't know if you have ever seen any Southeast Asian city, but their highways and streets are basically a giant parking lot. If you're traveling during the rush hours, you have no possibility to get anywhere in time. Yeah. So unless you want to like stand on the street with your car and just wait and die of this horrible overheat, then suit yourself, rent a car, but in other cases, don't bother. Now let's talk about the activities that you can actually do in Bangkok. There are basically like 2 nightlife hubs in Bangkok, at least to my knowledge. One is this backpacker slash hippie slash hipster quarter of the town, which is along this Khao San Road, which definitely is a must if you want to see something Thai. But if you're there, there are 2 obstacles. One, the public transportation just simply doesn't go there. And the second obstacle is this street never sleeps. So if you accommodate somewhere near the Khao San Road, then you will not sleep at night. Trust me. I mean, we had our room a street next to this Khao San Road, and we didn't even have any window, and it was impossible to sleep there. It was so loud. So remember that. But if you want to go for a beer or grab some street food there, I will get to that later, but that's a perfect part. Now, if you're more interested about dance clubs and bars and basically like meeting these Thai young people, I don't know, get a sex slave or something, you should live in another part of the city. It's called Silom, and it's I would say like half an hour walk from Khao San Road. It's actually located at the SkyTrain, so it's much better accessible, and there are a lot of bars that have large terraces to the streets. It's really cool. Even if you don't live there, I would really recommend you to at least go there for a moment, for a beer or for a drink or whatever. Now, getting back to Khao San Road, this is like your go-to if you want to taste some Thai street food. You can find there a lot of fresh fruit, also fresh juices, some shakes, stuff like that. You can get ice cream there. It's really cool. Talking about the Thai food, you can get the pad Thai there, which is one of the most popular national dishes of Thailand. It's basically like this fried rice noodles with some sauce, and you have eaten Thai food. Another thing that you may find interesting on Khao San Road, you can actually get a bug. You can buy a grilled grasshopper or a scorpion or a snake or whatever weird animal on a stick. When you walk down the Khao San Road, they will offer you a large amount of prostitutes on the road, on the way, and I believe you can probably get there like basically anything. It's like this dark web of Bangkok. So whatever you want to get, you will probably get it on the Khao San Road. But that brings me to my big no-no. They will also offer you drugs. Really frequently, considering how illegal it is there. Which brings me to my main point. Just don't do that. Because they're very strict on taking drugs, selling drugs and buying drugs. And you will end up in the Thai prison. And believe me, Thai prison is an euphemism for hell. So you don't want to end up there. So no drugs, guys. One more thing about drinking. You should not drink tap water. That's a big no-no. And also applies for ice. So if they offer you some drink, please ask without ice, because you never know where the ice came from. Like my first thing, literally the first thing that I did when I sit in a bar on the Khao San Road after we arrived in Bangkok, I got this ice latte, and of course it was with ice. So, well, I have a dark stomach, so I kind of survived and I didn't have any consequences. But with the hindsight, I'm thinking, well, that probably wasn't the best idea. And now let's get to the main topic of this video, and that's what can you actually see in Bangkok. Let's start with the main side. The main landmark of Bangkok is the Grand Palace and the nearby Temple of the Emerald Buddha. Now, the Grand Palace used to be the seat of the King of Thailand. Now it's no longer, it's mostly accessible for public. The Temple of the Emerald Buddha is one of the most important Buddhist temples in Thailand. You can find there the statue of the Emerald Buddha, which is the most iconic statue of Buddha in Thailand. You will find it in one of these buildings. If you want to go in there, you have to remove your shoes, like in mosques. Have you ever noticed how really similar many of the religionistic rules are? I don't understand why we always have to be at war with each other. Anyway, the entrance fee to the whole complex, so the temple and the Grand Palace, is for 500 baht, which is probably the most expensive entrance fee that you will pay in Bangkok, but it's definitely worth it. Also, you may notice that the statue of the Emerald Buddha is being covered in clouds, and if you're there during the cool season, he's actually wearing a scarf, which is extremely inappropriate because you're just dying of overheating the whole time, so good job, Buddha. Your next stop will probably be the Wat Po. Oh, see, I can pronounce it. Probably wrong. Anyway, if you want to correct me, you have comments. It's the temple of the reclining Buddha, which is basically what it is. It houses the largest statue of the reclining Buddha in the world. And you can also find there many amazing stupas and cherries. And while I'm mentioning that, I would really like to know what's the difference between the stupa and the cherry. In case you know that, please let me know. The third most iconic temple in Bangkok that you can visit is the Wat Arun. So we have to cross the river. There's like this old harbor where you will board the ship. It costs like 5 or 10 baht, really cheap, and it's really cool. So we will cross the river, and there is this amazing palace with the central structure and surrounding areas. You can like climb around it. It's currently under reconstruction, but it will be done someday, so check in advance. Anyway, really cool place. Now, another place that you can visit, and you will actually have the free entrance if you bought the ticket for the Grand Palace, and that's the Dusit Palace. It's located a little further from the center, so get a tuk-tuk or grab, but it's also a very beautiful palace. Definitely worth visiting, especially if you have the entrance fee included. Another place that you can visit is the Golden Mount. It's like this Buddhist temple on the very steep mountain. You will have to climb like a gazillion of stairs, but once you get there, you will get a beautiful view of the whole city of Bangkok. It's amazing. So the entrance fee is 20 baht. Totally worth visiting. Also a little bit further from the center, but still within the walkable distance. And if you go there, you will also cross some other ancient temples. Could be really interesting. Now, while we're talking about the tourist attractions, let me mention one that it's not located within the city, but it's within like 1.5 drive from the city. And why I'm mentioning is like really beautiful. It's I would call it like the Thai Angkor Wat, and that's the ancient city of Ayodhya. All these ruined temples are so amazing. You find there a lot of these iconic pictures that you see from Thailand, and even if you don't want to take pictures and be a fucking influencer, then just looking at these things, it's really beautiful. There are minivans going to it from the Mochi bus terminal. It takes like 1.5 hours, like I said, and totally worth visiting. If you are in Ayodhya and you want to go back to Bangkok, just don't forget that the vans actually depart a little bit further down the road than where they dropped you off. So we ended up searching for the place for like half an hour. Entrance fee to all of these temples is really affordable. It's in tens of baht, so really cheap. And another thing that you can visit in Ayutthaya is its famous floating market. You can buy there some stuff, and if you don't want to buy, these Southeast Asian floating markets are very cool, so could be an interesting place to visit. And that, my friends, is Bangkok. So one last thing, that's probably like negating everything that I said, but keep one thing in mind. Bangkok is a world city. It's one of the most visited places on earth, and a lot of the inhabitants are not actually Thai. There are expats from all around the world who live there because of the low prices, and therefore, unless you are directly in the city center, it's not exactly the Southeastern Asia that you aim for. If you want to enjoy like this cultural shock that you will get. In many places, Bangkok is just a Western metropolis, bustling city that will not be much different from the European or American ones. But once you start to go to the smaller streets and maybe to some of the tourist sites, you will see the Southeast Asian influence there, and it's really cool. So I guess what I'm trying to say is allow yourself a lot more time to get to know Bangkok, because even though in the beginning it will look like a concrete hell that's trying to kill you at every moment, it has its atmosphere, it's perfect, it's one of my most favorite cities in the world, and I hope it will be yours too. So I hope you found this video useful, that you enjoyed it, that it gave you some information that you needed, and if you liked it, please give me a like, consider subscribing to my channel, it will help me a lot and you will not miss any of the future video. Don't forget, this series will have 8 more videos in the first season, so consider that. And check out my social media, Facebook, Instagram, and see you in the next video. Have a great day.